Hey everyone, it's Jay here. I'm going to be talking about relationships today from an interpersonal neurobiology framework and the idea or the question, can you heal in romantic relationships? Before we kind of get into that piece of it, I want to talk a little bit about our society in general and how we view romantic relationships. So, one of the things that comes up a lot is that we um, very much just center romantic relationships as like the pinnacle of all relationships, or even the pinnacle of building families. And so we put a lot of focus, energy, effort into romantic relationships. So is this good or bad? I think that it's really just missing a larger picture here. The reality is that we need more than one romantic partner to really heal, love, and experience life in the fullest. We need our loving community. It's important, I think, to a little bit decenter romantic relationships. And with that, also not thinking about healing occurring within only these relationships or not. What is a loving community? A loving community really could be people or even animals or beings in your life that have supported you, helped you feel seen, heard, and held. And these can be, say, teachers, mentors, caregivers, friends, all sorts of people, your dog. Your loving community really are people and beings that really touch your soul and hold your soul. We have like internalized community within ourselves. So sometimes our internalized community can be all sorts of kind of representations of beings and people in our life, good and not so good. Our loving community are those that we feel the most held, most seen. And when you spend effort in kind of building your loving community in real life, and you build these relationships, all types of relationships. So maybe that's your parent, maybe that's a mentor, maybe that is your pet, and you really build these relationships. Those get deeply woven into our nervous system, and we can call upon those relationships as we need, and they become part of our internalized loving community. The more we do that is actually the better, because the thing here is with romantic relationships, if you think about our nervous system really being shaped in a particular way from past experience, for example, and we might then attract somebody who has a nervous system that's shaped in a very complementary way. And that can be really good in some ways and also cause a lot of tension. So, for example, you'll see this like, say there's one person in a relationship that really likes getting validation, and there's another person in the relationship that really likes providing validation and comfort. And their nervous systems are kind of shaped in this way that it's like very complementary. Versus sometimes, because of that different shaped nervous system, there can be ways in which that creates conflict. So, for example, maybe one person is really shuts down during difficult conversations, versus another person really needs to be present and engaged and held in difficult conversations. That kind of different shaped nervous system might cause some conflict. So you can see in some ways, in a romantic relationship, or really any relationship, in some ways, there can be some healing, that the way that they complement you might provide that sort of comfort and reshaping your nervous system. Versus, in some ways, it can cause a lot of discomfort and conflict. So this is where your inner loving community comes in. So you draw upon the feelings of being safe, seen, held, heard from your loving community. And that comes in with you into your romantic relationship. So say you're having that kind of tension, and you really need someone to like be in this difficult conversation with you, but your partner is like, oh nope, I need to like, I'm shutting down, I need to leave. You might draw upon the inner loving community as a way to support you emotionally, and thinking back to times where you have felt seen and heard, or you've had that space that they were able to offer these pieces maybe your partner is not able to offer. Does that help kind of then bring the intensity of the situation down so that you can show up and actually have more energy or spoons to engage with your partner? And imagine if your partner has their inner loving community to do that as well. Then you're both able to show up with more capacity to navigate this tricky situation and see what can actually work out for the both of you. So this is why this idea that can we heal in a romantic relationship is true, and also not the full story. We need all types of love for healing. This is where I think therapists can come in. So if you have a therapist you feel really connected to, really seen and heard and held in this beautiful way, they're actually in a prime position to provide that, hopefully regularly, unconditionally, and that can help shape your nervous system. And you can bring in, or evoke that feeling of being with your therapist in these spaces. For some people, building their inner or their loving community in general might start with a therapist. It might start with that person because that's a person ideally who has experience and training providing that kind of support. So hopefully this is helpful and gives you more things to think about. Thanks for watching.